Alright everyone, the other day something very funny happened. This is in humorous news. Joe Manchin got heckled by a so-called climate protester. Really just a leftoid. Of course, Joe Manchin is a Democrat, but he doesn't play the game of far leftism. Although behind the scenes he was still working with the Biden White House on their green energy bullshit, and he had decided to sell his voters downriver, which is why he's not even bothering to seek office at this point. His approval hovering around, I think, 25 or 30 or thereabouts. Yeah, he saw the writing on the wall. In fact, I don't even know if he's going to be on the ballot. I don't think that he is. Not 100% sure. Anyway, climate protester shows up, and Joe Manchin is given a little presser and, chuckling and doing his Manchin thing, and he leans over and calls Manchin a fucking piece of shit, basically. Joe Manchin immediately pulls up out of his chair looking like he's ready to deck the dude. That's funny part number one. And Joe Manchin, for a person in his mid-70s, is actually reasonably well put together. I think he would have won that round with this shrimpy little climate protester. It's funny. Then the security guard that's there, one of the people from his security, some of you have already seen this. If you haven't, link in the description, archived, of course, go to the live version or just look up Joe Manchin on Twitter. If you don't believe me how funny this is. Security person literally has to push Manchin back to keep him from decking the climate protester. Then he grabs the so-called protester and shoves him out the door. Dude literally ragdolls on his way out the door. And Joe Manchin's literally pushing on the security dude, by the way, to add a little extra force. It was hilarious. I'd like to point out, though, some people, when I laughed about this, they said, well, that's going to result in an assault charge. Okie dokie then. For the less legally literate out here, I've got an experiment for you. One that I do not recommend you trying, by the way. Go to a bar or a club. One with a bouncer out front. One of the places where they may or may not allow you into the venue. I'm assuming that somebody that stupid probably is on the do not enter list. Now go into the bar or the club, or wherever the exclusive VIP lounge, or whatever the hell. Go up to the bartender or to the waitress or something and act really like a shithead. Start yelling at them and berating them and calling them a piece of shit. Let's see what happens. What happens next? Does the bouncer come over and politely say, "Sir, you need to leave"? No, you might get a little bit of a verbal warning, but that's assuming that the bouncer's sober and having a good day. Normally, you're going to get physically lifted and tossed out the fucking door like a piece of trash. And you can go ahead and file an assault charge if you want, but see what happens. See what the judge says. Well, you went into the bar, you're acting all crazy, and this is the bouncer. Private security. When you went into the bar, you acknowledge the fact that there's private security there. You obey the rules or you don't. Sorry that you broke your nose when you hit the cement, but what do you expect me to do? Case dismissed. Thump thump. Be like an episode of Judge Judy. You fuck around, you find out. I was astonished at the number of people who jumped down my throat saying, oh my god, he's going to get like a assault and battery charge. No, he's not. He's a security officer. You've gone into a private venue deliberately to heckle. You're getting confrontational. The security officer very wisely decided to prevent Joe Manchin from handling the situation because Joe Manchin looked like he would have done worse than simply toss him out the fucking door. And so you got removed physically. Physical removal. Yeah, that's there's nothing wrong with that. Now you can say, well, that's unjustified. Sticks, he wasn't being violent or anything, he was just heckling. Okay, there's no real difference between shoving him out the door and ragdolling him out the door. He clearly wasn't injured. He felt he's a big boy. He looks like, this kid looks like he's in his 20s. I'm sure that getting thrown to the ground once is not going to significantly injure him. Stop being a fucking pussy. That's number one. Number two, when you heckle, you're not using your free speech. You're not expressing anything that's covered under the First Amendment. You're trying to deny other speech. Yes, that includes if you're heckling a politician. Sometimes it's funny. You get physically ejected from the venue. Go to a Trump rally and start heckling and see what happens. Yeah, they won't even wait for security. The other people at the Trump rally with the red hats on will probably remove you before they even get a chance to work their way over to your aisle. Go to a Biden rally and do the same thing. Again, disclaimer, I'm not saying that you should do this. I'm speaking rhetorically. What happens? Secret Service will jaw you out on your fucking way real good. In that case, you probably also face criminal charges. You fuck around, you find out. The main funny part, though, is how easily this security officer ragdolls this leftoid and how weak they are. And that tends to be a fixture of the left. Like, I would say, it would be justified if we had a bill that you could kick them in the balls when they heckle at events, but it wouldn't have any effect because, there's no testicles there to kick. In the case that they're male at all, they're a little bit underdeveloped. It's a problem that leftoids tend to have. Also why they tend to hate guns. They like to do pee-pee projection, but they seem more obsessed with my dick than I am, so I find that very funny as well. Joe Manchin, like him or hate him, I'm somewhere in between. It depends, kind of. He's less of an anti-gunner. He's definitely not on the woke end of the spectrum, but he's still a Democrat. He still did the big spending thing with Joe Biden. He still stabbed his constituents in the back. Nonetheless, this was hilarious. This is not Chaz Garden levels of hilarious. Unfortunately, we haven't seen something since then that quite rises to that level. And I've seen some funny shit. But it's up there. I'll give it a 7 out of 10 on the humor scale. Somebody should just put that the shoving episode on repeat and have a 1-hour loop of the leftoid getting shoved out of the way. And that would be a real funny one. That's about all. Peace out.